Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here as we get set for race number 6 of Division 1 of the NCAA Skittles Super Speedway Series. We are here continuing on the race weekend from the Madrid Super Speedway, getting ready for 24 laps of racing. We had a very exciting qualifying session for these Division 1 drivers. It came down to two-car tandems as to who was going to get the pole position. William Duncan had teammate Vance Caldwell as his pusher, and you had J.J. Roberts with Roger Ray as his pusher, and those 4 drivers will all start in the first 2 rows in this event. Duncan will have his teammate Caldwell behind him. Roberts will have Roger Ray behind him in the first and second row on the high side. William Duncan getting the pole became the 6th different driver in 6 races to get the top starting position. So far, we have had no repeat pole sitter. However, in this series, we have had a repeat winner, as Brady Burkhart still sits as the only driver absolutely locked in to one of the 8 positions to make the playoffs this season. But Seth Cole, Ryan Butcher, their former winners this season, and Jessica Shelton joined the ranks with her win last week at Dragonette. So will we see one of our 4 former winners go to victory lane here today? For Burkhart, his 3rd time, for the other 3 their 2nd time, or will we have another driver added to the list of race winners this season? The odds are in favor of that, as there's basically a 1 in 4 chance that it's 1 in 10 chance that a former winner is going to go to victory lane here today at Madrid, but we'll have to see what we're going to have in terms of racing as well. Let's quickly go down and get the command, and then we'll talk about that.
Drivers, start your engines.
So as the command is given, the thing that I'm really going to be interested about here is I wasn't able to gather enough information to really get an idea of what kind of racing we're going to see here today. Are we going to see 3 wide, several rows deep? Are we going to see them double wide? I mean, where's the trouble spots going to be? There really wasn't a whole lot to gather off of the qualifying session, which normally we're able to do. So this is going to be a bit of a mystery to me. This is Madrid, but it technically, if you joined us for qualifying, I basically explained in length and in the way it drives, it's pretty much like Talladega Super Speedway. It really is Talladega Super Speedway. It's just updated with a little bit more with the graphics. The name is changed, but most of the fundamentals of Talladega are going to apply in this race. You've got the start-finish line down between the middle of the tri-oval and turn 1, and for the most part, everything else the same as if we were running Talladega Super Speedway. Let's quickly give you your top 10, the points coming to this race, presented by Blame Shelley Insurance as well, before we forget to do that. Brady Burkhart, despite being a 2-time winner, is also the overall points leader after a good finish last week at Dragonette. Holds 8 points over Philip Goldberg, who's starting near the rear of the field today. Vance Caldwell, he's 3rd in points, 10 points out of the top position, and he's the highest starter of the drivers inside of the top 10 here today. Trent Dunham is in 4th. Sebastian Cucalon is 5th. Shelton, with her win last week, jumped up to 6th. Seth Cole, our winner from Pigs Creek, is 7th. 8th place is Austin LaPlante, who rolls off from 6th place today. JT Bryant, he's been quiet so far this season, but he's up in 9th. And completing your top 10 is Preston Plourd. 3 of our 4 former winners this season in the top 10. The only one outside the top 10, Ryan Butcher, 12th in the standings, and he's rolling off from 8th place on the grid here today. 24 laps of racing. So it'll be interesting to see what the fuel window is for these drivers as well, as this track's length is 2.66 miles. William Duncan, J.J. Roberts, they dueled it out for the pole. They'll duel it out as the green flag is waving here today at Madrid. Let's roll. Inside line easily prevails at the drop of the green flag. Duncan, Caldwell, Haas, all clear for positions 1, 2, and 3. We got a car up and in the wall, looked like back there. That looked like the 25 of Benjamin Miles. He's trying to drop to the rear of the field as Vance Caldwell says, all right, teammate, I got you the pole, but now I want to lead the first lap of this race. Outside pole sitter J.J. Roberts way up the track there in the 81, and he made a little contact, it looked like, with Ryan Butcher as he came back down off the safer barrier. But Vance Caldwell, trying to take the overall points lead, will get a bonus point for leading the first lap of the day. Ashlin Boyd moves into second. Jonathan Zoerlein, who was so close to making it into round 2 of qualifying, started 11th, now up to 3rd. Joshua Lee right behind him. Those are two Hendrick numbers, but they are not teammates in the series. Look at this. Ashlin Boyd thought about going for the lead. Zoerlein says, nope, I'm going to make it 3 wide for the top spot. And one thing I'm noticing is that outside line has absolutely no momentum. You see them all lined up there on the top side. That was Brady Burkhart, William Duncan, Jack Mitchell. They were making up absolutely no progress on the top side. So it looks like it's going to be a low line fest today. Everyone is going to be fighting for the bottom. Zoerlein now goes to the top spot as he will clear Ashlin Boyd. Joshua Lee in tow. And you got Cody Smart there on the inside line, the Ford, then the Toyota of Patrick Zych, then the Chevy of Andrew Miller. And I mentioned when we gave you guys the top 10 in points, JT Bryant, a little bit of a surprise up there in the top 10, basically because we haven't given him a heck of a lot of TV time, but he's been very consistent so far in the first 5 races. 1 top 5, 1 top 10, but he's 9th in points, and there you see the black and yellow Steve Park looking number 22 down on the bottom, making his way to the front. Patrick Zych will lead that lap in the 04 and will block Andrew Miller on that inside line. Miller's got his teammate in tow though, Seth Cole in the 33. We'll see if they work together against the Toyota Camry of Patrick Zych. Down the back straightaway, here comes Roger Ray in the 68, started on the outside of row 2. Now he's gotten to the bottom and he's coming up towards the front, bringing Jay Jefferson and James Qualls with him. Laurent Lemount has had really good qualifying results in the first 4 races of the season, but he hasn't really had the finishing results to back that up. Last week at Dragonette, he started dead last and ended up coming away with a 9th place finish. Didn't qualify all that well in this race either, as he started back in 37th. So maybe there's something to it where he qualifies well, doesn't run well, qualifies horribly, and then does well in the race. Right now in the 5th position. Jay Jefferson making a look down to the bottom there on Seth Cole. That would be for 2nd. James Qualls there with him, and Jefferson will get to the inside of the 33. Qualls, who started on the pole back at Pigs Creek. Seth Cole eventually won the Pigs Creek race. They're side by side for 3rd. Give the spot to Qualls. And now Jefferson trying to lead a lap. Jay Jefferson coming into this race situated currently down in the 38th position. He headed into Dragonette last week in dead last. Was able to get out of the cellar in the point standings. Now trying to begin forward progress up through the points. And that bonus point for leading a lap is certainly going to help him out. Jake Rogers there in the 98. He started near the rear of the field in the 35th position. He's now in a battle for 3rd with Preston Plourd. Plourd comes into this race 10th in the point standings. And that was after a bad run last week at Dragonette that dropped him from 6th down to the 10th position. So Preston, our Daytona pole sitter, trying to bounce back. As up front, Jay Jefferson trying to block all the lanes. I'm noticing a couple of stragglers towards the back, though nobody seems to have appeared to have lost the draft. Trent Dunham's back here along with Diego Yepez, and I'm seeing, I think, some damage on the right side of the 1 car. Yeah, there is. You see a little damage on the side, especially back behind the right front tire. I've been hearing a couple of drivers scraping the wall off turn 4, especially the drivers that take that very extreme high line. And I think Trent might have been one of those drivers. But he is still up in the lead pack. You've got outside pole sitter J.J. Roberts back here. Looks like he may have a little bit of damage as well. Jack Mitchell's back here. Sebastian Cucalon Looking at Diego Yepez in the 69. Brady Burkhart, two-time winner, is way back here, as well as Riley Spurlytube. But right now, everybody's still in the lead pack, as that was Roger Ray in the 68 I saw there way up the track, very close to the wall. James Qualls may have brushed the wall off of turn 2. Remember, it doesn't matter where you're at in the point stands. If you've got a win, it's a ticket into a playoff position, which J.J. Roberts wants to get. He is 38th in points, but a win would leapfrog him over everybody else and put him in one of those 8 playoff positions. Right now, 4 of those playoff spots held by former winners, Burkhart, Shelton, Cole, and Butcher. Right now, the other 4 spots currently held by the highest 4 drivers in the overall point standings, which would right now be Goldberg, Caldwell, Dunham, and Cucalon, but we saw that both Dunham and Cucalon are near the rear of the field right now, so they may not find themselves in a playoff position when we leave Madrid, unless something drastically changes. We also really haven't, for the last couple of weeks, had the opportunity to be able to see green flag pit stops take place. I think the last place that we went to where we really got to see green flag pit stops was back at Pigs Creek. It was a bit of a wreck fest at Dragonette last week. M&M's was a wreck fest. And with the fact we've been able to run 9 laps, now going on to lap 10, without a caution, says to me we may get the benefit of seeing a fuel strategy race. We're also coming off the heels of the closest finish so far in Skittles Superspeedway Series history. That was back in the Division 2 race last week at Dragonette. 12 1/1000ths of a second. Nathan Ormond able to beat Kyle Langland. Will we see a photo finish here today? Jefferson still doing a good job of keeping everyone at bay, but now they've gotten themselves formulated in a line behind him. Patrick Zych, Laurent Lemount, Cody Smart. So now they might be trying to mount a little bit of a charge here, and if they make a move and work together, there's going to be nothing Jefferson can do. How about Benjamin Miles? We saw him at the drop of the green flag drop way to the rear of the field, even though he had already started the race back in the 38th position. He has fought his way up to the top 10 now in the 6th position. Jonny Gardner now up in 7th, and how about Tristen Fowlkes? Started dead last. He's also up inside of the top 10. And as soon as I say that, he gets kicked way up to the high line, and he's going to lose a few positions out of turn number 4. And I think he may have brushed the wall a little bit right there. Up front, though, single file amongst the top 6 or 7 here. Gardner going to be the first one to step out of line, trying to take a spot from Benjamin Miles. That would be for 6th, not able to do it. It's like these guys right now content to ride single file, which is going to allow them to break away from the rest of the field that are racing side by side, because that side draft with side by side pulls the car you are racing back and kills all forward momentum in terms of speed for the rest of the pack. It's Chevy Toyota, Chevy Ford, and then Ford Chevy right now in the lead pack. Then another Chevy, and then a Toyota with Miles and Matt Haas. Matt Haas trying to combat a poor performance last week at M&M's, which really was no fault of his own. Dragonette, whatever version you go to, has that strange glitch on pit road where there are 2 pit stalls morphed into 1. And Matt Haas and Diego Yepez ended up being the 2 unlucky drivers in Division 1 that got those 2 pit stalls. Unfortunately, both came to pit road under the same caution, and Yepez glitched into Matt Haas, and that sent him to the garage area. So Matt Haas, because of that, ended up falling down in the point standings from 12th to 20th. So trying to combat that pit road glitch here today. Well, I made an edit that someone had suggested, trying to hopefully get better frames. It's a little bit better, but we're still getting the frame drop, which I'm a little disappointed about. Nonetheless, though, how about Jay Jefferson? Undoubtedly going to lock up the bonus point for most lap sled right now, as well, as he has been out in front for a good portion of the first half of this race. And now we start to loom with the question of when do the pit stops begin. Now, if I remember correctly, at normal Talladega, the fuel window is somewhere between 16 to 19 laps. So somewhere in the next 3 laps, we could start to see some of these drivers hit pit road, because I'm pretty certain they cannot make it the full 24 laps on fuel. We'll have to wait and see. Sometimes I've been proved wrong, but I'm pretty certain that the fuel window is at max 19 laps. And would anybody be willing to strategize and stay out a couple extra laps to gain track position? One thing about these super speedways is you need to have a group of cars come down pit road with you and leave with you. As Jonathan Zoerlein making some moves back here. This is around the 4th position. 3 wide with Matt Haas and Patrick Zych. Eli Bright there in the 12. Second straight week he has started in the top 10, and I think he might be coming to pit road. No, he is not. He just took a oh, yes, he is coming to pit road. So Eli Bright's the first one that's going to begin the green flag pit stops. Andrew Miller, Ashlin Boyd, Joshua Lee, Zack Winkle, Carter Friesen. I saw Philip Goldberg. J.J. Roberts, Diego Yepez, looked like Jack Mitchell also on pit road. So the pit stops begin, and I said somewhere around 16 to 19, and it's at the completion of 15 going on to 16 that the first wave of drivers will hit the pit lane. So now the pressure is on the pit crews to deliver the money stop to have their driver in position in the lead pack with a shot of winning the race. Jefferson's going to stay out. It looks like Millz is going to hit pit road. No, Jefferson pits as well. Everyone in this lead pack is going to pit. A couple of drivers did stay out. And the caution is out. Yellow flag waves, and that throws a monkey wrench into everything. Shane Lake stayed out, Kyle Matthews as well as Zachary Taylor, and the caution flag is waving with 8 laps to go. This is going to change up everything, and I think it's going to depend. I think Trent Dunham may have stayed out as well. It's really going to depend on this battle off pit road, and I think Jay Jefferson's going to win it. So I think Jefferson is going to probably be the leader when we go back green, because these 4 I don't think are going to be able to save enough fuel under pacing to be able to make it the rest of the way. They're going to have to pit. As Shane Lake waiting for the pace car to pick him up there in turn 3. It indeed does now. What brought out this caution? I thought I heard spin off of 4, but I wasn't 100% certain. Didn't see any smoke, so I paid it no mind. I don't see anybody with damage. There's a couple cars back there that have right side damage, but that was, I assumed, from hitting the wall either off turn 2 or off turn 4. And now, is Shane Lake staying out? He is. I don't understand this strategy. He's already got the bonus point for a lap led. Matthews, Taylor, and Dunham, they're going to come to pit road. So I'm a little confused about this strategy here, and there are some skid marks off turn 4. There is now smoke. I didn't see the smoke before, and I was looking towards the rear of the field at the time, so that's a little interesting. Well, Shane Lake is the leader. I'm pretty certain Jay Jefferson's going to be the leader when we go back green, unless the 55 decides not to pit and thinks he can save enough fuel to make it. But that's a bit of a shot in the dark. So let's go back and see what happened out of turn 4. Caution coming out here during the cycle of green flag pit stops at Madrid. Here's what happened. Looked like Preston Plourd up on the top side was trying to make it to pit road. I think his spotter probably told him he was clear to come down, but JT Bryant was to his inside. And Jessica Shelton, last week's winner, going to get caught up in this as well. Slides up in front of Joshua Ciculli, who I think was able to slow down in time. Preston's going to nose it into the outside wall. Shelton makes some contact with the outside wall with the left front of her machine. And everybody sees this, and I think everybody behind them dove to pit road. Safest place to go. So a 3-car incident there involving 3 drivers that came into this race in the top 10 in points. Shelton 6th, Bryant 9th, and Plourd in 10th. Don't know how much damage all 3 of those drivers sustained. We're going to have to find out when we go back for the restart. But good thing for Shelton is she has that win in the bank. Plourd and Bryant, they're trying to still make it into one of the 8 playoff positions. So that's what brought out the caution. A driver up on the outside line trying to cross 3 lanes to come to pit road, and now sets us up for what should be a shootout here today at Madrid. We will go back green, and we will have 5 laps to go when we do so, so at least we know what the fuel window is. Oh no, I'm sorry, we will not go back green. The light's back out on the pace car. So it looks like we'll get at least 1 more lap of caution, so we will have 4 laps to go when we get the green if the lights do go out atop the pace car this next time by at the line. You can see Jefferson is the leader. Shane Lake gave up the lead, came to pit road, so he's going to be starting at the rear of the field, losing quite a bit of track position as a result. And that caution also was probably not what drivers like Kyle Matthews and Zachary Taylor were looking for, although when they came to pit road, they were able to come off of pit road ahead of some of the other drivers. You can see Matthews is going to be restarting 23rd, Taylor in 24th, and Trent Dunham in 26th. So they're not starting back in 38th, 39th, 40th. So I don't, right off the top of my head, know where they were running at the time that the caution came out. I don't know if this is an improvement or if this is a decrease in positions for those drivers, but at least it's not the last 3 spots on track. Well, Jefferson has had a strong car. After getting out in front, nobody has really been able to challenge him. Now it's going to be interesting to see with a single file restart if anyone's going to be able to get formed up to be able to make a run at him in the final 4 laps. Benjamin Miles will line up 2nd, Ryan Butcher 3rd. Vance Caldwell's been in the top 10 all day. He restarts 4th. 5th place is Jonathan Zoerlein. Jake Rogers is 6th. Laurent Lemount in 7th. 8th is Matt Haas. Patrick Zych in 9th. And Jonny Gardner completes the top 10. Nobody out of the race after the incident that took place with Plourd, Bryant, and Shelton. Let's see where those 3 are going to be restarting. I think the highest of them is going to be Preston Plourd. He'll restart in 25th, Bryant in 28th, and Shelton in 30th. They all came to pit road after that spin off of turn 4. Got damage repaired, and we'll have to see if they are up to speed, because Preston didn't make hard contact, but he did make contact with the nose into the outside wall. So I don't know if that's going to affect him aerodynamically wise or not. Lights, as you see, are out atop the pace car. So when we go back green on lap 21, there will be 4 laps to go. Everyone came to pit road either under green or under caution. We know they are good to go the rest of the way on fuel. That will not be a concern. It's all going to come down to friends and alliances for the most part, I think. And as I look here in our top 10, I don't see any teammates. So it's going to have to be the unlikeliest of allies ganging up against the rest of the field. All 40 cars that started this race are still running, still on the lead lap. So guys that are back in the mid-30s, back to the rear of the field, have a chance to improve their position. And as I look coming into this race too, right now, as things stand, I think Vance Caldwell stands to inherit the points lead heading into next week's race at Pensacola. He is 4th. The drivers he's trying to run down, Philip Goldberg and Brady Burkhart. He's 2 points behind Goldberg. Goldberg is currently back in the 33rd position, and Brady Burkhart, who came in the points leader, is currently situated 37th. So Vance Caldwell, if he can stay up in the top 10, I think will be the overall points leader heading into next week's race at Madrid. But the biggest question that we have to settle is who's going to pick up the W here today. One of our former winners up here in the podium spot, 3rd place Ryan Butcher. Can he get his 2nd win of the season? Green flag in the air, 4 laps to go at Madrid. Laurent Lemount tried jumping to the outside of Jake Rogers. That might cost him. Top 5, single file. Top 6, single file, really. Jefferson, Miles, Butcher, Caldwell. Miles going to be the one that steps out. Does anyone go with him? Caldwell's going to follow him. Can Miles get to the left rear quarter panel of Jefferson going into 3? Yes, he can. He'll be alongside him when they reach the center of the corner. And now Jonathan Zoerlein jumps to the bottom as well. It's what they needed to do to beat what's been the best car so far today, Jay Jefferson, and now Miles goes to the race lead. Caldwell stays low. He's got Zoerlein with him. Can they get to the inside of Miles? Yes, he will. He's alongside the left rear. Drag race to the line. Lap led by Miles, but Caldwell has the advantage inside line into turn 1. Now Zoerlein going to move to second. Rogers into third. And don't look now, but I'm noticing our pole sitter, William Duncan, may have a shot of being up in this hunt. Trying to go coast to coast as his teammate, Caldwell, leads the way. Zoerlein trying to get a run on the bottom. Couldn't get to the inside of Caldwell that time. He's got Laurent Lemount right behind him. Off of turn 4, Zoerlein up to the high side. Lemount stays down low. Lemount's going to get alongside the 48. I think there was almost contact there between Zoerlein and Lemount, as there's 2 laps to go here at Madrid. Caldwell mirror driving, blocking every lane. Gardner 3 wide up the inside line. He's got Sebastian Cucalon with him. What a comeback for the driver of the 42. Jefferson, the dominant car, up and into the wall, brushing it off of turn 2. Losing spots hand over fist as he fades to the back. Now Laurent Lemount moves into the runner-up spot. But look at Cucalon with a big run down low. Help from Eli Bright. And also, I believe that's Tristen Fowlkes who started shotgun in the field. Look at Laurent Lemount. Big run there out of turn 4. He might dive to the inside. Oh, he's not going to make the move just yet. The white flag displayed this time. Caldwell, Lemount. Here comes Cucalon. Big run for the 42. Trying to get to the inside of Lemount. Can't do it this time into 1. Lemount's looking, trying to get a half groove lower on the 16. If he makes a move, will anyone go with him? Eli Bright looks low. Caldwell looking in the back. Here comes Cucalon to the inside. That's the battle for second. Does he have any help? No, not right now. Now he's got Fowlkes with him. He's going to draw alongside of Laurent Lemount, but that might be all she wrote. That might just give the win over to Vance Caldwell. Out of turn 4, Caldwell with a car length and hand over Cucalon. Can Cucalon get enough of a run here in the tri-oval? Doesn't look like it. Vance Caldwell, third in points, is going to get his first win of the season. He takes the checkered flag here today at Madrid Superspeedway. Vance Caldwell blocking the lanes, stopping the momentum. After getting around Jay Jefferson on that restart, he came into this race third in the point standings, and he will head into Pensacola not only as a race winner, not only as a potential playoff candidate, but also as the overall points leader in the standings. First win of the season, first win to my knowledge of his career on this channel. And for the first time this season, a Ford has won a race in Division 1. So far, we have had 3 wins for the Toyota Camry and 2 wins for the Chevy Camaro. So now Dodge, the lone manufacturer that hasn't won in Division 1. The odds not entirely great about that happening, as Eli Bright's the only representative for that manufacturer, but I digress. But how about Vance Caldwell? First win of the season as well for Flying Aces International. And Caldwell will take the checkered flag. Cucalon brings it home second. That was a great comeback for 5th in the point standings because he was near the rear of the field for a good portion of this race. And how about Tristen Fowlkes? Not where you start, it's where you finish. From dead last to 3rd in this race. Laurent Lemount, I think, okay, he's proved my point. If he qualifies well, he's not going to do well in the race. If he qualifies horribly, he's going to do well in the race. He's qualified horribly the last 2 weeks and finished in the top 10 in both races. 4th today for Lemount. William Duncan, the pole sitter, battled back for 5th. Eli Bright in 6th. Cody Smart was 7th. Joshua Lee 8th. Best finish of the season, I think, for Andrew Miller. He'll get 9th, at Jonny Gardner will complete your top 10. Then it was Matt Haas, Jose Millz, Riley Spurlytube. Kyle Matthews started close to the rear of the field. He was back in 36th. He finished the race out in 14th. And Ryan Butcher, who restarted third, fell all the way back to 15th. The rest of the top 20 were Patrick Sitch, Benjamin Miles, Joshua Ciculli, Zachary Taylor, and Jake Rogers. Jay Jefferson, who led a good portion of this race, dropped all the way back to 23rd for the conclusion of this race. And you can see apparently the damage on the right side of Shelton, who was involved in our only caution, hurt her aerodynamically. She's going to finish in 40th. The good news for her was she has that win in the bank last week at Dragonette. Our other former winner, Brady Burkhart, two-time winner, back in 31st. So even if Vance Caldwell didn't win the race, I think it was pretty easy to say he was going to take the points lead over with the poor performance out of the 00, and not exactly the best of runs for Philip Goldberg either. He was able to pick up a couple of spots, but only improved to 33rd for the finish of this race. But that is going to do it here from Madrid for our Division 1 race. Vance Caldwell is your winner. Hope you guys enjoyed this race. If you did, be sure to display, like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown your full opinion results, and these are your overall point standings heading into next week's race at Pensacola Super Speedway. We still have to finish out this race weekend, though, as we will be having the Division 2 drivers here tomorrow night. That's coming your way next on the NNSCRA Sports Channel, Offline Racing at its best.